But maybe all this is about applying mathematics. Maybe the world of pure mathematics is somewhat different. You go and stick on which half of on that half of the faculty, that's the pure half. If you go and find a nice that half, okay. Find a nice cozy corner in this half of the faculty and sit down and do math. Surely there's nothing harmful you can do there. Right? If I do my math PhD and do some postdocs and try and get a lectureship, that's perfect. That should be perfectly safe, surely. Because it's just pure math. It's clean, it's holy, it's beautiful, it doesn't have any connections to this thing called the world. And pure math is amazing. It's got all sorts of fields like number theory. Number theory is great. You can do things with numbers. And maybe one day you're doing pure math and you come across a genuine method that factorizes integers a little bit faster than everyone else thought we could do. This is the domain of pure mathematicians. So what might happen if you did that? What might you do if you came across a genuinely fast factorization algorithm? Break RSA. Who has a vague understanding of what would happen if you broke RSA? Yeah, you think Brexit's going to give you a shortage of food supply? Wait till this is. Economy, kaput. Supply chains, kaput. Banking, kaput. Okay, maybe some of the banking I could handle being kaput, but all of it, no. I want to be able to, log online and transfer money. I'm going to verify that I'm talking to certain websites and not others. So, the question is, what would we do? What would you do if you came across or developed a fast factorization algorithm? Do you publish it? Do you keep it secret? Do you half publish it? And this is the work of pure mathematicians. This is us. So I'll finish off by saying that if you look outside of mathematics faculties, people are doing discussions like this. Stanford, Harvard, MIT, they have courses on ethics in algorithms and AI. With budgets in the tens of millions of dollars. They have professors, more professors from different faculties, law, computer science, they have postdocs assisting them. Mathematicians haven't quite got there yet. But we will, by starting a discussion here, because people listen to Cambridge. When we do stuff, people pay attention. So that's why you should be aware that this is getting closer and closer to us, because we are getting further and further from pure work. We finish our studies here, and we're going to do stuff that's incredibly important and applicable, and changes the world. You go to do programming in somewhere like Tinder, you are changing people's lives. You go into banking, start constructing this, you're changing people's lives. And there are more examples that I haven't got time to talk about today. And I'll discuss these as we go through the seminar series. So I'm going to stop my rambling now and throw it over to you and ask you some questions. And the first question I want to ask is actually about ethics itself. Because some people have said to me that ethics is easy. I say, okay, cool. There is a famous example in philosophy, it's called the trolley problem. Who's heard of it? Not everyone, some. So the problem is, there's some sort of little trolley thing here, and it's curving along, and here there is one person, and here there is n greater than 1 people, for some reason loitering on the tracks without realizing this trolley's hurtling along. It's first on the tracks. And you happen to be standing here and there's a lever. You have your hand on the lever. And the question is, the trolley is hurtling this way towards the three people, what do you do? It's a serious question. What would you do? Any takers? Doing nothing is doing a thing, by the way. You're currently standing there with your hand on the stick. So doing nothing is doing something. It sure wanted it to happen. You could throw yourself in front of the thing and derail it. Would it change if well, yeah, I'm going to leave it going towards the more critical moment. Anyone else? There's more information about this system. So raise your hand if you think that it's a difficult choice at the moment. Okay? I'm going to rephrase the problem now. These three people are three people you've never met before. And this person is your mother. I'm serious. Raise your hand if you think this is not a difficult decision. Fewer hands go. My point here is that what I want you to do for the next 8 weeks, assuming you keep coming and I haven't driven you all off, is never answer one of my questions without first asking another question. Do not answer without asking.
Can we do that generally with you?
No, just of course not. I'm an idiot. From 4:30 to 5:30 on Tuesdays in MR4, do not answer without asking. Outside these times, I don't want to hear it. No, but I'm serious. Because we train you to answer, we don't train you to ask. And there's so much more to ask. This may well be someone that you care about or you think is important or should be saved. You say, oh, this could be people on death row. Does that change your answer? There could be 2 people, or 2,000 people, or 2 million people. Does that change your answer? They could have a terminal disease. There could be nuns. There could be nuns with a terminal disease. Gee, I don't know where I'm going with this now, but ask a question. Because we don't train you to do that. Here's the problem given to you by management. Here's the problem given to you by your lecturer. Just solve it. Don't worry about that stuff. No, that doesn't cut it anymore. Because we're now so close to applications. Here's another one. Ethical question. It's the first and only ethics lecture I've ever been to, actually, given by Lord Winston. He gave the following examples. He was talking about ethics and how it changes with space and time, right? So ethics here is different to ethics there. Ethics today is different to ethics yesterday, different to ethics tomorrow. Right? What we value and think is important changes by where we are and when we are. So he gave an example of something that happened in the, I think, early 90s. It was a test, a medication test. And so it was a brain medication, and people were asked to volunteer. It was going through human trials, and so they needed some volunteers to test, okay, how is this going? They got a group of people divided in two, control group and real tablets, gave them the medication, and then gave them all a brain scan. And these are real volunteers. Okay, not people from hospital, just like volunteer to do this test. And they did the testing and did the brain scans and said, okay, you know, the people who took the tablets had increased activity, the real ones, increased activity. People who took the control tablets, that didn't have increased activity in that particular area. No other side effects were observed that weren't already sort of expected, except they found somebody with a brain tumor. What do you do? Serious question. What do you do? I'm posing that to you. What do you do? Who hasn't answered anything yet? Let's go for someone new. Please, somebody who hasn't answered anything yet. Come on. Because this is a serious question about ethics. You can ask that first question. I think in this particular example, it was the sort of thing that they sort of gave you the medication on Monday morning and Monday afternoon they did the scan. So in this particular case, it was not caused by the medication. Fair question to ask, but that doesn't. The answer is no to that. So does that affect what you would do? I'm asking you. Okay. Is anyone else? Who else would tell them they have a brain tumor? Not everyone. Brain tumors come in different forms, right? There are sort of okay ones and bad ones, right? So what would be the harm in telling them? So what year are you in? When did the 1A exam start? May the 25th or something? Okay, so suppose on May the 23rd I tell you that you have a brain tumor. And then you sit there and say, oh shit. I don't know how bad it is. I have to do another test and everything like that. But it's a brain tumor of some form. So I tell you on May 23rd, and you do the natural reaction, which is you shit yourself because you've just been told you have a brain tumor. Your mind's not really on your exams at the moment, probably. Might start acting rationally or get quite upset. And then in 3 weeks' time, we conclude, okay, it was not a dangerous brain tumor, you could have lived with this thing for the next 60 years. It's just a little, so basically it's a benign lump in your brain. Okay, everything's fine, everything's sorted, you just failed 1A. Bye. There might be, and in this university, I think there is. Other universities, I don't know. I don't know how giving and lax they are. And are you making that decision for the person, or are they making it themselves? Are you deciding who they should match on Tinder, or are they making it themselves?
Because, by the way, if you ask them this question, they're going to know that you know something catastrophic, because suddenly you're asking them all sorts of questions that have nothing to do with this benign drug trial. You call in, and there's a lawyer, an accountant, 3 lawyers, an accountant,
a priest,
and a priest in the room at the same time. They won't suspect anything. No, it'll be fine.
And then you say, by the way, if you did have a brain tumour, would you like us to tell you? Nah, it's all right. Don't worry about it. Get lunch. Foresight. Foresight is valuable. So now, when you do a scan, the first thing you do is have a box on the form that says, if we find something, he wants to tell you. And the box is there before you do the test. You can't email over at the end and say, sorry, we forgot this last question, just do you want to tick the box or just say it. So this is called learning. Right? Oops, we didn't quite catch that. But it's interesting how some of you are very sort of adamant that obviously, clearly, you tell them that they have a brain tumour. And others are like, nah, I'm not buying that. Is it obvious? That's a first step. Find someone who understands the situation better than you. Because we all assume, oh, the problem's on me, therefore I must solve it. There are other people in the world who can solve problems too, they're not us. They're really handy. Imagine a world full of mathematicians. You wouldn't be able to buy fruit. What's for dinner? Chalk. Yeah. It comes in different colours. So consult with other people that are mathematicians. Ask them. We're not trained to assess these things properly. And things that you might think are so painfully obvious there's no point even discussing it. Someone else, remember, you're mathematicians. And tripos of some sort of year. Some of you have said obviously yes, and some are like, nah. Same training. How does that happen? Same training. 2 differing obvious answers. Where does the fork happen? The fork is an ethical decision. The fork is thinking about something as a person. Because you can't axiomatize a system. I can't give you an algorithm to do ethics in math. This is something you have to think about and be trained for. And a 1-hour lecture just isn't enough. You know, we give you, what is it, 1,000 hours of undergrad lectures, 2,000 example sheet questions? Yeah, that's right, 2,000 example sheet questions. Some of which break up into parts A, B, C, D, and E as well, just to really stretch it. And if we don't spend more than 20 seconds telling you about, well, actually, here's where all this stuff is going. And that might be a shortcoming on our part. Maybe we've overlooked this for too long. Maybe 30 years ago, 40 years ago, you could say, actually, mathematics that we're doing, the people who train mathematics are so disjoint from any sort of final endpoint of the process. It's impossible for them to make any sort of rationalized, reasoned judgment. But we're getting much closer now. So, people in Tinder, write this code, and then 2 people do or don't date. People to the bank, do calculus, and then you do this. We're right at the front. People pay us to do mathematics. We're not here just for the fun of it. Maybe we feel like we're for the fun of it, but ultimately someone will pay us to do this.